Quibs, we're going to start with you. Can you give us a very brief heads up? Because I think my community is very well versed in the advantages of privacy and things like that. But just a 50,000-foot view, take about 2 or 3 minutes. Why is your project so important? Why are the issues of privacy so important?
Yeah, thank you, Max. So Conceal Network is an open source and decentralized project. Our chain is based on the CryptoNode protocol. We're privacy by default since block 0 and completely trustless without any central authority. We're a lot more than just a privacy coin. Main features of the project are anonymous DeFi, encrypted messaging, anonymous payments, and unlinkable transactions. Also, we are and always will remain 100% proof of work to secure the network. So yeah, basically we provide a broad scala of privacy preserving tools. Also, we're completely community driven, by the way. And our slogan is no one owns Conceal and everyone can take part. So basically that's the project in just under a minute.
Very good, very good. And a little bit, so just take another moment to talk about why privacy is so important in the modern era.
So imagine this scenario, like in a normal blockchain, everyone can trace your funds. Every payment you made, every transfer between addresses could be monitored. So if you are in a censorship environment where if you support any community group that is restricted or banned, you could get in trouble. So we consider privacy a human right, basically. And without privacy, there is no freedom. So you are not free to spend your money as you like. You don't have a freedom to express yourself. So there is a loss of freedom of speech as well. And it's one of the 4 pillars of Conceal Network. Besides privacy, we preserve as well decentralization, because people who see central systems as the answer to everything have usually lived in a stable country for their entire whole lives. A few days in an unstable scenario, like recently in Ukraine war, could change your mind very quickly. Imagine you live in a war zone right now, and your central infrastructure is destroyed, your country is destroyed, and as is your money. Bank institutions stop operations, your money is freeze. You don't want the war, but there is nothing you can do about it. Now your house is gone, your friends and family are dead, your banks are bombed out, and you are cast out, adrift, homeless and penniless. Even worse, nobody wants you. The world has shifted from open borders to building walls everywhere. So if you are not welcome anywhere, you can stay where you are and you are broke. But what if your money is still there in the blockchain, waiting for you to download and restore your private keys and deterministic wallets, and that's it? You could have like your funds back to start again. How much easier will it be to start your life over? So where does privacy enters here? A right to privacy is explicitly stated under Article 12 in the 1948 Universal Declaration of Human Rights. No one shall be subject to arbitrary interference with his privacy, family, home, or correspondence, nor to attacks upon his honor and reputation. So everyone has the right to the protection of the law against such interference or attacks. The right to privacy is the main element of various legal traditions to restrain governments and private actions that could be a threat to the privacy of individuals. So, if you look globally, there are over 150 national constitutions mention the right for the right to privacy. And two other pillars that we based our community and project are censorship resistance and social inclusion. So this goes far behind privacy, but all the four pillars of our project and community can't live or be implemented without each other. So privacy will help you as well with the censorship resistance, because it implies that everyone can transact with the network on the same terms, regardless of their personal identifying characteristics. And users shall not be able to exclude others from information. Amounts could be hidden, and the source of transactions and destination. Censorship resistance money means you can spend your money anywhere, the way you like, and without anyone's approval. So, and you can't achieve that without privacy. A censorship-resistant network is a system explicitly designed to resist coercion and control by centralized powers. They could be governmental, they can be state powers, deep state powers. No one could be able to freeze or seize your funds. Basically, that's the concept behind censorship resistance. And
Very good. Okay, for it.
and privacy is fundamental as well for social inclusion. If the traditional financial system and settings segregates who can access the financial services like banking, those discriminated individuals could be offered free banking services through decentralized blockchain technologies. In the near future, the majority of low-income people all over the world will do their banking using cryptographic distributed systems. I think now the world is conscious of the potential of this new technology. The fractional reserve banking system has completely failed low-income people. Of course, most of poor people are not even accepted by these banks. The crypto system has significantly lower fixed costs, and consequently allows more people, even everyone, to benefit from financial inclusion. The poor people and everyone will be able to make transfers at extremely low cost, and Conceal network will allow them the benefits of the saving function, giving them the first opportunity ever to climb out of poverty. Through our cold staking system, we have compounding interest deposits based on the blockchain, totally private, and that don't allow any kind of tampering. So the effects for communities globally will be transformational, we believe. So these are the four base pillars of our project, and they are all interconnected with privacy. Without privacy, we can't achieve decentralization, censorship resistance, or social inclusion of as much people as we can. So that's where we call help.
Yeah,
An
maybe.
excellent synopsis. A small little backstory. There's like a little anecdote from me. I'm in the process of renewing one of my visas, and the governing authority, for the first time ever I've ever seen this when I've been renewing visas, is that they want to know every social media account I've ever owned. I have to every email address I've ever used, and every cell phone I've ever had that I've had personal control of. And they want all of that information on the application of a visa just to live in a new country or whatever. And that is, to me, that's it's very clear and chilling the direction in which it's going. For me, for all intents and purposes, it looks like we're entering a dark ages. The credit score system that China is implementing, it seems to be something that's very much appreciated by all of the so-called Western governments who are supposed to be liberty and democracy orientated. You see things like Andrew Tate and many, many others getting taken off of social media, trying to be silenced as much as possible. And I thought a very interesting interview with Andrew Tate recently. He's like, okay, they've emptied their clip, they've fired all their bullets at me, and I've got an account on Rumble, and that's the end of it. And I was like, oh no, they have not emptied their clip at all. You can still be followed around for your movements, and you can be denied banking service, and you can be denied all these different kinds of services and locked out of the system because you have that opinion. And fortunately for him, and fortunately for us, I think he's still sticking with his message and staying true to himself. But not many people have the fortitude and the resources to be able to do that, and he does. And that's a great thing. But we have this situation where in order for the little guy who doesn't have the resources and perhaps doesn't have the fortitude to stay true to himself, I think privacy is something that can get you there, which I think is super important, which is why I wanted to do this conversation and chat to you guys about that. Do you guys have any response to that, or should I move on to another question?
Yeah, I have just something to add, like why privacy is so important, because I agree with everything said so far, but it's also important for fungibility of the money. Now imagine there is some, like in Bitcoin or in Ethereum, for instance, like this is just a crazy story that's happening with Ethereum right now, as they move to proof of stake, and the US SEC just said that basically they have jurisdiction over any transaction made on Ethereum. And this is possible because they actually can do that because every transaction is transparent and public, So if you really want to avoid such things, you need privacy, you need private transactions, because then nobody can interfere, nobody can know where a transaction is coming from and where it's going from. Just the recipient and the sender and the recipient know that, nobody else, because it's nobody else's business. And I mean that this is crucial. So also imagine you have anonymity with the addresses on public chains, but the instant you transact with somebody and he knows you and he knows the address you transacted with, he can, from then on, he can check everything you transacted in the past, and he can see everything you will transact in the future. And now imagine you're doing some personal sensitive, purchases. Like, for instance, you have cancer and you're buying treatment drugs for cancer. So you're basically signaling everyone that you have cancer, which is probably something you don't want to broadcast to the whole world. So privacy is important on so many levels. Like we saw with Tornado Cash and the mixer on the Ethereum, and so on and so on. I could go on with these examples, but let's stop here, so I don't want to be too long.
Yeah. So now let's, I think everyone's got a good understanding of the importance of privacy. Let's dive in a little deeper into the suite of products that you guys are creating. Can you just lead me through what you're focusing on and the suite of products that people can use right now, but either right now or in the future development plans, and how they can interact with the project?
Yes, well, so as already said by Quips and 0x, Conceal is more than just a blockchain project. It's a whole privacy ecosystem. So one thing, of course, in the center, there is a Conceal chain, which is, as mentioned, a privacy-oriented blockchain, but it offers a lot more on top of it. So one thing for instance, that we offer are encrypted messages. So you can send a message that is encrypted and end-to-end encrypted, and only the recipient and the sender again can see the content of this message. And these messages have two options. One is that they are permanently stored on the blockchain. So you can, for instance, send a password you want to store to yourself, and you have it permanently stored and nobody can see it. Or you can share that password with somebody else, and again, only you and that person can see it, and they have it stored on the blockchain forever. And another option is that you specify an expiration period, and after that expiration period, the message self-destructs. So it's not actually included in the blockchain. This is also a neat feature if you just want to send somebody, like, again, a password or some message that you don't want others to see, but you don't basically want it to be stored permanently on the blockchain. So this is one product we have. Now, another one that's really interesting is cold staking. Now, we call it cold staking because it's not really a staking, like, it's not a consensus. Conceal is 100% proof of work, like Bitcoin, but we have an option for users to select any amount of CCX and lock them for a certain period up to 1 year. And the more they lock, and for the longer duration they lock, the more interest they gain. We pay up to, the chain pays up to 6% annually. And for that duration, you do not have access to your coins. You basically lock them, and nobody can unlock them until the duration is up. All this is done. We call it cold staking because you don't need to have any servers, you don't need to have any wallets open. It's all directly on the chain, and everything is completely decentralized. So there is no central points, no third parties, no trust is needed. Nobody can interfere once the deposit is made. Not even us, the devs. Basically, it's just everything runs completely on the chain, on the layer 1. So this is another interesting feature. So people can basically remove the coins from circulation and get paid interest in return. Then we made Conceal Live. This is interesting because it's not related to blockchain directly in any way. So Conceal Live is a standalone application, similar to Signal in some way, because Signal is probably known to at least some people. That's why I'm mentioning it. So it's a video, audio, and messaging app that is completely serverless. It works peer-to-peer, and it acts kind of like Zoom but without servers. So you can make video calls inside groups. You can make audio calls, and you can send messages to people you have in your address book. It's also completely free and available to anyone to use. So this is another interesting product we made. Then we also have Conceal Pay and Conceal ID, but currently they're not available right now because we are upgrading them. But they were made for the merchants to use, so they can pay with Conceal easily from their web pages or anything related to that. And then in the future, we are planning private protected assets. This is one of the most important things we have on our roadmap. So what this will do is it will allow anyone to basically create their own assets, or basically tokens, on top of the Conceal network. And these tokens will share all the privacy of our layer 1 chain. So you will be able to create any amount of tokens you will like, any amount of assets you would like, and you will be the owner, or you will be able to transfer the ownership to somebody else. And this will enable to then have a wide variety of features added on top of the Conceal. So you can have then other coins represented on Conceal. You can have real world asset represented on Conceal. We could then issue our own stablecoin, which is right now, I think, most avoid, because there is a hot debate around stablecoins. So we are not sure how that one will go. But it opens a lot of doors. So this is also one thing that we are eagerly waiting for. And there are some other things on our roadmap. So I really invite everyone that is interested to check our webpage and check our roadmap, because listing every single one of them would probably take too much time right now. So maybe if 0x has something to add, I probably missed something important, I'm sure. So he can add something I missed, and I will wrap up here.
You cover everything pretty well. Thank you very much. Let me just have like the potential of the PPA, the Privacy Protected Assets Platform. We realize in some loyalty points systems that were based in Ethereum, for instance, the transaction fees most of the time, in 93% of the cases, were higher than the points the companies were giving as reward or cashback to their customers. So, and other problem, and here privacy is vital, is that on the loyalty points and reward systems and cashback systems, using other platforms, people will be able to trace the points you are getting. So we are solving two problems at the same time with this new platform. So we're gonna have very low fees. So companies will not have the same issues that they have on Ethereum and other platforms when the rewards to give to their customers were much lower than the fees they needed to pay. And at the same time, they're going to be compliant with, for instance, in Europe, with the general European data protection. So they cannot disclose what their customers have bought in their shops or businesses. So it's another problem we're going to solve, because any asset on this new platform going to have the same level of privacy than our main network. So the user's privacy going to be preserved and going to enable us to create barriers and manage boundaries to protect all these businesses from warranted interference from any kind of control. So the privacy implemented over this platform going to help us establish boundaries to limit who has access to users' data and the places they visit, the products they bought. And at the same time, they're going to be able to use our encrypted message system to communicate directly between merchants and customers. So it's not only another cryptocurrency project, but it's something bigger. It's a complete, our aim is in a few years to have a complete monetary system working that allow anyone like to connect their business and connect themselves with their customers. They could be in Europe, they could be Asia, they could be in Africa, without any investment or a very low budget investment, like a simple computer, like even with a low spec computer, they will be able to run their business and to communicate in a private and censorship resistant way with their customers. So and that's all. I thought this is very important to tell about our new platform. And once again, privacy is essential to who we are as human beings, and we make decisions about it every single day. It gives us space to be ourselves without judgment. And imagine, like, if you have a business that social could be discriminated, or if you support the wrong political faction in your country, your privacy gonna be preserved, your freedom gonna be preserved. And privacy is an important element to give us control over who knows what about us, and that's it.
Yeah, I will just add this to wrap it up. So yeah, we are basically very wide. Our scope is very wide given the privacy space. So as I said, we're not just a blockchain project, because some people still look at us like, oh, you don't have the biggest TPS, you're not the fastest chain out there, or oh, you don't have smart contract support. This is not our aim. We are not competing with Ethereum on one hand, or we are not competing with Solana for speed, or with some other blockchains that claim insane transaction speeds. What we are aiming to do is the whole ecosystem that allows you to have financial freedom, privacy, and private communications, and basically the whole package. This is our goal. So this is what we are trying to do, and our blockchain is just a part of this whole package. So that is probably one of the most important things people miss when they check us out, I think, if they don't do enough research.
Understood. And when I hear about projects like this that have so many features, I always wonder about scalability. What kind of level can you guys scale to, do you believe?
Yeah, so as I said, we are not the most scalable chain out there. So one thing that our protocol offers is dynamic block sizes. So how this works is basically there is a sliding window, and the more transactions you have, the bigger the blocks will become. So basically the block size is variable. The protocol looks for, I don't know how, I would have to check how long in the past it checks how many transactions, but basically if your transaction count is going up, your block size will increase, and with that the throughput or the scalability will increase. But of course this goes to a certain extent. We are not claiming that we are that we have sharding or that we have some crazy insane numbers. Our block time is 2 minutes, so 5 times faster than Bitcoin, but still slow compared to like something like Solana or some newer protocols out there. But this was never our intention. This is our layer 1. And as with Bitcoin, the most important thing we aim for is security of our chain. In my opinion, for instance, smart contracts like Ethereum has are very, very dangerous thing. And I think that all the hacks that happen all the time are just a proof of that. We had on our roadmap earlier, we had a layer 2 chain. Basically, we planned to do another chain that would be used later for actual fast payments and everything that needs to scale to high degree. So the plan was to keep the L1 chain for store of value, for deposits, for privacy, for everything, and have layer 2 chain for speed and scalability. But since we are completely community-driven project with no funding behind us, with no companies behind us, basically just a bunch of guys all over the world with a common goal, we need to be realistic. So for now, we are aiming to first finish building up our layer 1 chain with private assets, with everything that we mentioned. And later, if there is a need for scalability, we will simply take a similar approach as Lightning Network did. So we will basically build a layer 2 on top of our layer 1 and scale that way. I think that what Bitcoin is doing is the right choice and the best choice to go. So that's my opinion.
Yeah, excellent. I think I agree with you. I think Ethereum's made a huge mistake, and it may take 2, 5, 10 years for the magnitude of that blunder to become apparent. But I think they have.
Ethereum has made several huge mistakes, not only one, in my opinion.
Yeah, so much so that it almost like we wonder, like, okay, they're making themselves vulnerable to attack. It almost begs the question: maybe they have already been like influenced by bad government actors or something who are leading that project down a bad path. But that's very confusing, because I think that's going to come back to bite them in the butt. All right, guys, let's wind it up here. So tell me, how can people find out more about the project? Where should they go? What would you like them to do?
Yeah, so our website is conceal.network. We have Twitter account, we are on Discord, we are on Telegram. You can go to our Wikipedia, and all those links are on our website, so please go there.
And from there, you can also access our Wikipedia, which has a lot of info. And on our website, there is also a list of interviews, articles, mining videos, a lot of stuff. So anybody that wants to dig deep and dive in, they can do so. There's a lot of material. And as Quip said, we have Telegram, Discord, Twitter, and we are always present. That's one thing that's worth to mention. The team members are mostly always present on Discord. You will find at least one or two of them, and you can talk to them. We don't bite. We welcome everyone, and we always welcome an open discussion.
Excellent one. If you guys send me those links, I'll make sure they're in the description of this video. So guys, check out this project. I said it earlier, I didn't really elaborate, but the censorship is real. It's coming thick and fast. The state is very, very good at coming up with ways to hurt you for your opinions. And I think privacy is going to become more and more important. Or if not, we're going to fall into another dark ages, and we could lose another millennia in lack of innovation because people are just too scared to bring new ideas forward. So very, very important to defend free speech and privacy. So guys, thank you so much for being here. If you like this kind of content, do me a favor, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. And you know what? This has inspired me. I'm going to do another video coming up soon on just how big the magnitude of the Ethereum mistake moving to proof of stake is. So do me a favor and go ahead and subscribe if you would like to hear that content. Okay, guys, thanks very much for that. And I'll see everybody later. Take care. All right, guys, that was great. Thank you so much.